Starting. All right. So, welcome to Call of Cthulhu Thursday night. We're playing a campaign or the prologue to a campaign called The Masks of Nyarlathotep. And I have no idea if I am saying that correctly at all. So we have our players here and they'll give here a introduction here in a couple of seconds. And we're just going to get right into it. So for my players here, your characters, as you have been told when we did our session zero and we did our character creations, have answered essentially an advert, a it from an Augustus Larkin, and he has been essentially he's advertised this excavation, this trip to Peru with promises of adventure and gold and things of that nature. And each of you guys have a reason for wanting to do this, whether it's something personal, whether you guys just want to get rich, or you guys just want to travel the world and have some fun. Uh, each of you guys have your reasons. All four of you have been accepted into this expedition, and according to Augustus Larkin, have been arranged to meet him at the Bar Cordano in Lima, Peru. Now here in roll 20, and actually now I'm going to change the scene here. And now here I'm going to take you guys now to the Bar Cordano. And you guys are going to essentially kind of come in kind of one after the other here. And we're going to as I throw you guys in, you're going to introduce yourselves, your names, and going to tell us again, don't tell us your entire backstory, but like tell us a little bit about yourselves. And Ida, I'm going to just throw your kind of your character in here, and you're going to go first. And tell us a little bit about your character.
Sure. This is Ida Josephine, Josie to her friends. She is quite small, um, fairly young, around 20 years old, but might appear a little sickly, but is extremely well put together. Um, Great at makeup, subtle, has very nice clothing, maybe a little old fashioned, but is clearly comes from wealth. Is wearing a dress, and here I have a photo I can share. Well, in our Discord,
Mhm.
um, gives you a little more of a close up, but it's wearing, yeah, like a dress, a two-piece dress suit kind of thing.
I also enlarged
Um,
it in roll 20 as well, just to people get a good look.
Perfect. What else? I don't want to reveal too much.
Why don't you tell us like what's her occupation?
Sure. She doesn't have one. She's a socialite, a dilettante.
Ah, so she's a dilettante. Okay.
Her occupation is having a lot of money. Um, she did private tutoring, hasn't been to college or anything, although she wanted to, and is here because she's looking to have a good time and maybe get some answers to some questions.
Got it. Okay, very mysterious there at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so as you have arrived, probably from like a little taxi, again, you've had a long boat ride from, you know, uh, to get here. Boat ride comes from the
Hmm.
states. You arrive and you're taken by the waiter over to where Augustus Larkin is, and that is where that goes. Next person to arrive will be a Mr. James Whitaker. And let's get a little introduction on James.
Alrighty. James, first and foremost, is the most obviously rural American one can get. He wears pretty beat up looking clothes, blue jeans held up by a pair of leather suspenders, some worn uh, cowboy boots, if you will, and a shirt that has likely never seen cleaning detergent,
Oh,
but has most definitely seen the water of a local river. Besides his rather unkempt clothing, he himself is a pretty imposing figure, 6'5", barrel chested, very brawny, and not exactly a looker in the face, but other than that, he looks like your average Joe, and it is very obvious what his occupation was before doing this.
okay. Okay.
What
All right.
was it?
He was a farmer.
Oh, okay.
He did work the farms. Let me go ahead and make your token a little smaller here. Similarly, with Ida, uh, you're taken to where Mr. Augustus Larkin is waiting. Next up on our introduction list will be Jethro K. Irving.
Jethro is a little older than I think some of the folks here. He's 28. Um, he has a pronounced Southern accent. He's from New Orleans. I cannot do a New Orleans accent, but that is, imagine that. I have family in New Orleans, so I know what it is, and then I cannot do it. Um, but he's a little older. He's kind of tall and lanky, but he's about average sized. He's well put together. He has a sweater and a button up underneath it, but his hands are pretty dirty. They've got paints and charcoal that are just stains that seem like they're permanently there. And he seems a little distracted all the time. But he is quite charming once he actually gives somebody his full attention.
Okay.
And he is an artist for his profession.
So let me ask you: is it a New Orleans accent or like straight from the Bayou kind of accent?
It's New Orleans, yeah, yeah.
New
He
Orleans.
comes
Okay,
from some money. That's how he can afford to just
gotcha.
be a starving artist.
Was very curious when you said Louisiana. I thought we were talking about deep bayou bubblegum shrimp kind of talk. And similarly to everybody else, you're brought over to where Mr. Augustus Larkin is sitting. And then last but not least, Dr. Isaiah Franklin.
Yes, hello. Isaiah is from Boston. I did the opposite, being from the South and chose someone up north. Also, cannot do a Boston accent, so don't really expect it. They are a doctor in the sense they got their doctorate, but in actuality, they're a professor at Boston University. They grew up in one of the suburbs out there, went to study there where their parents taught. They don't come from money, but they also don't come from nothing. They make a good living as a professor. They're not by any means extremely wealthy, but they are very well put together. Everything kind of meticulously in place. They wear a suit, three piece, they are slightly undersized. They would consider themselves average, but they're a little on the below average side of average, if we're being honest. Not very bulky, not very tall. Um, and and that's about it for them. They always have a journal with them, either in their hand, attached to their side in some way, shape, or form, often notating things and then putting it back away, which they do outside the bar, notate a couple things, then put it back away before they actually walk in.
Okay.
What are the pronouns?
Sorry, what was that?
What are the pronouns?
Oh, he, him.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So, just like everybody else, you're brought in. The waiter takes you over to Mr. Augustus Larkin's table. So, now that the final person has kind of been here and is they're here. Everything's ready. The bar Cardano, and I'm putting a little music there just for the ambiance. I do want to make a note here. Call of Cthulhu is very much played mostly in the theater of the mind. Now, I have done my best not to combat the spirit of the theater of the mind stuff, but I do think that it's nice to have like little maps and like a little bit of music in the background and that kind of stuff to just help visualize it. But keep in mind that in Call of Cthulhu is mainly played in that way. So, as you guys have now finally arrived, when you are taken to the table where Mr. Augustus Larkin is sitting, aside from, your group, you see two other men sitting at the table. You see in a more pale, older, more Latino looking guy. His name is Luis de Mendoza. He sits to the right of kind of Larkin. I didn't have the greatest tables. Why am I not allowed to grab my tokens? All right, that's no problem. Luis de Mendoza he's got there here, and I'm gonna bring out. Let's see this token here. So it's this guy here, and he is he looks a little angry. He's staring at the other person at the table, which would be Mr. Jesse Hughes. He's a taller black man, but he's also kind of staring kind of at Louise, and you can kind of tell that they're not very friendly. Aside from that, it's just a normal kind of like it's a very popular restaurant, as you guys can tell. And I want you guys to keep in mind that Peru in the 1920s, especially at this time period, it's a growing city. You'll find similar amenities to things like in New York City or Boston, so you're not really super out of place. Although, unless you speak Spanish, you can't really like go communicate with the locals or anything like that. So, as you guys arrive, Mr. Augustus Larkin, he kind of he sits up a little bit and he looks at all four of you and he goes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please take a seat. Please order anything you like. Everything's been all taken care of. I thank you so much for asking for answering the ad. Let me see. So you're Ida, James, Jethro, and Dr. Franklin, correct?
You can call me Josie.
Josie. Okay. Incredible, incredible. Thank you. I am so glad you're all here. In 3 days, we will be leaving towards the Andes in order to find these ancient pyramids that were built by a tribe long ago, and we will find gold that will set us for life. These ancient artifacts and gold structures are said to be untouched by the locals. He stops for a moment and begins to cough a little bit before perking back up. He goes like, "Do you guys have any questions or anything like that, or what are your dreams? What are your goals here?" He begins to look around the table.
James kind of raises a hand and goes, "Yeah, I've got one question. When do we get paid?"
It's an excellent question, James. We will once we arrive at the Andes, we will divide how much of the gold that we find, and it will be divided equally amongst all of you. Oh, and let me go ahead and introduce the people. This is Luis de Mendoza. He is one of the locals I've hired. He's going to kind of guide us up through the mountains and get us to where we are going. And this is Jesse, Mr. Hughes here. He is also similar to you all, answered the advert and will be joining us on this expedition.
Pleased to meet you.
Jesse gives you guys a light nod, but you still notice there's some antagonization between him and Luis de Mendoza. Now, I want uh Doctor actually, who do I want to do this? I want everybody to roll a spot hidden roll for me, please. And for since you guys are kind of new, it should be one of your skills on your skill sheet. Okay. So three of you, with the exception of Dr. Franklin, uh, with your spot hidden, you notice that there is a deep black ink on Augustus's Larkin's chest, and it seems to be like a rather large tattoo. You also notice, the three of you, that he seems to be getting a little paler, a little sweatier, as he gets a little more excited.
Mr. Larkin, are you quite all right?
Oh, thank you for noticing. I'm feeling I'm feeling quite well, although it is a little bit warm for me. I do thank you for asking, and he coughs a little bit more again here. So you guys here, since you guys are new, uh, there are different skills you guys can use as well whenever you need. Spot hidden is a very big one. Um, so I would like Dr. Isaiah Franklin, since you're very well educated here, I would like you to roll a psychology roll for me. Okay. So, Dr. Franklin, you kind of you notice as Dr. I'm sorry, not Doctor, but as Augustus Larkin is speaking, you notice that he he seems a little bit weird in his personality. He's promising like quite a bit, and he's just hired a bunch of strangers to go on this expedition. It just seems a little bit weird to you. So I want you to keep that. That's information for you. He seems a little bit off.
Noted. I will keep that to myself for now.
So now time goes on. And now Augustus Larkin, he starts going through his stuff, and he now pulls out essentially a golden cup, and he places it on the table, and he looks at you and he goes like, before you all arrived, I purchased this golden cup from a local farmer near the location where we will be going, and this is just my proof to you all about the amount of money and the discoveries that we're going to make. And he sits there and he shows it to you all, and he passes it around first to Mr. Jesse Hughes, who kind of like inspects it, and then he kind of passes it to Josie, and he lets you all kind of, and you can feel it. It's real gold.
Jethro's kind of studying it when it comes around to him. Um, and he kind of lifts it up and looks at Augustus and says, um, I thought you said that the locals hadn't been there. How did the farmer get this?
It's the locals had gone there. It was a misspeak, but they only found this, and they decided the area was cursed, and they did not and they didn't want to go back. And that's a very good catch. I would like you to roll a psychology roll for me, please. Your hard success shows that Mr. Larkin is lying to you.
The psychology? I got a failure.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm looking at.
I
Oh
did,
no, I
yeah.
messed up.
It was close
Oh
though.
no. You know what? We're just gonna say that's a failure. This is an example of how the psychology roll works.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm so stupid. I was looking at Dr. Isaiah Franklin's from earlier, so that is a mistake on my end.
You're good.
But
Hard
yeah,
success
so
catches the eye.
we're just gonna pretend. You know what? I'm gonna give you 6 luck points for that, and then I'm just gonna take them away, and we're
Mhm.
gonna pretend that's a success. So there. So you find out that he. So you can kind of tell that he's lying to you, and that is a. He's basically flat out lying. And as the conversation goes on, and Mr. Augustus Larkin, he's now, instead of being as excited, he's sweating more, and he's kind of more, a little bit more like more relaxed, I guess would be a good word for it. And he asks now, he's like, in 3 days we will set out. It is currently, for you guys, it is currently uh Thursday, so on Sunday morning, you guys will be leaving Lima to go into the Andes Mountains. It's a couple days trip to these uh to see these pyramids and to get this gold. And he slumps down, he's more relaxed, and he goes like, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Um I will be returning back to my hotel. You guys can feel free to stay here and enjoy this wonderful lunch. Order as many drinks as you need. It's all on me. The hotel you four will be staying at is called the Hotel Mori. Me and Mr. Mendoza here, uh, we will be staying at the Hotel España. And we try to get everybody to the same hotel, but unfortunately, we there weren't enough rooms. However, I we did give you guys the nicer hotel as a just a show of thanks for joining us.
Much obliged.
Any more questions before I leave?
When should we expect to meet up again?
Sunday morning outside of your hotel, 6 a.m.
I
Very
have a
well.
question, Mr. Franklin, if you would oblige. Uh, How do you know there's more gold?
Because the original the local around the Andes that I spoke to, where I found that cup, he said there was more. However, because he believes the area is cursed, and just just other superstitious nonsense, he did not go back for more. And it seems like that seems to be the general consensus about the area. Of course, it's just nonsense and superstitious babble, but that's why I believe, especially with the research that I've done, that there's just so much to be taken, and so much for us.
So the local didn't see more.
No, he said that he did see more, that he assumes that there's more. But and from my research based on the tribes, there should be way more gold than we've seen. And you feel free to roll a psychology check for your character as well. Feel the need
Because earlier he said they found this one and thought it
to.
cursed and stayed away. Now he's saying they've seen more. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, does not matter. Your character believes him, so it seems good enough for him. So he begins to get up, and he goes, and he seems to be kind of in a rush here. Uh, and he asks one final time, "Is there any more questions or anything else?"
Yeah, Mr. Larkin, have you ever done any of these expeditions before, or is this a first for all of us?
This will be a first for all of us, but I have done some extensive research, and and Mr. Mendoza here has been in that area multiple times. I expect, with the money and my backing and the tools and the people that I'll hire, we will have a very straightforward, pretty easy, smooth sailing trip.
He kind of he nods, but then he looks at everybody else like, "Can you believe this guy? Really?"
You can roll a psychology check too if you need. Oh, wait, you already did that earlier, so you don't need to do that. However, I do want everybody now to roll a medicine roll. All right, you were never gonna pass
Nope.
that.
Oh, somehow we got very close though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would have been a critical success. All right. So looks like you all failed. Okay. So Mr. Augustus Larkin, he and Mr. Mendoza end up leaving the bar, going back to their hotel, leaving just you all and Mr. Jesse Hughes there at the table. And you could you Mr. Mendoza had not like he was straight up eye contact with Jesse Hughes in an angry way pretty much the entire time. Mr. Jesse Hughes, he turns to you guys and he goes, "Did you guys believe any of what was said there?"
Well, I believe he certainly thinks there's more gold.
I'm not entirely convinced. And Jesse pulls out kind of a pipe, and he starts smoking a little bit, and you can see some tension, like some tension in his face a little bit. And he looks at the rest of you, and he's like, "Do you guys believe him?"
I
I
don't know if
mean,
that fella's in that case or not, and it don't matter one way or the other to me. What matters is that we get our pay.
I don't know. Are we? I mean, if no one, do any of y'all have like experience on an expedition, or are we all just going in blind? I don't know if we're even gonna make it, let alone get paid.
Well, there's a bit of an oddity if I do say so myself. Um, there's a and I mean no offense to you, my compeers, but there's a very random collection of people just haphazardly thrown together for such an expedition. I've never heard of such a thing.
That's what I was thinking too. I thought I was gonna get here and I was gonna be the only one who didn't do this for a living, but I don't know.
Jesse Hughes, he perks up a little bit hearing that you guys, most of you have your suspicions. As one of you here is only here for the money, but he's like, "You guys seem like good kids here. You guys, I think there's more to it than this Augustus Larkin is letting on. You know, I have a friend uh, here in Peru, part of the Museum of Archaeology, and he's been trying to get on this expedition for a while, but Larkin hasn't even answered his letters to be part of this expedition. You would think that the head of archaeology, with his backing and knowledge, he would be like first seat to joining this expedition.
Well, now that is strange.
Indeed, was this not meant to be an expedition to discover lost civilization? Surely that would be the exact interest of such a man.
That was what I was.
Ask me, he's in it for the same reason I am.
And it's true. Jesse looks at you, Jethro, and he he goes like, "You might be right. He might be here, you know, just for the money, but I think there's a deeper reason." Jesse, he pulls out his journal and he begins writing down. He goes like, "My name isn't really Jesse. My name is Jackson Elias. I'm a writer in the States. I specifically write and research about cults around the world. And I have reason to believe that both Augustus Larkin and maybe not him, but at the very least Luis de Mendoza are part of a death cult running here in Peru."
A death cult?
hmm
Well, that's a $20 accusation.
There have been plenty of people going missing ever since Larkin arrived here in Peru. Now, the locals attribute it to some kind of supernatural force, like something known to the locals as the Karasiri, which are these mythical like fat sucking vampires, which is obvious nonsense. But I believe with these recent disappearances and just the timing just seems odd. I think that Augustus Larkin and Luisa Mendoza both have something to do with this cult.
Well, do you think it might be prudent to talk to the locals?
It's funny you asked that. I have a meeting with my friend Mr. Professor Sanchez at the Museum of Archaeology tomorrow, and he's going to tell me more about the site that we're going to see like what exactly it is that this cult wants and what's kind of going on here.
Not to invite myself, but if you need a helping hand, I'm certainly willing to come along.
I'm so glad you asked because that's exactly what I'd like. More people having more eyes on this and you know hopefully maybe doing something about this cult that's hurting people.
If Mr. Larkin is engaging in suspicious activity, then why on earth would he invite more eyes on him?
That's part of it. That's what I can't seem to really figure out.
Is he doing anything illegal?
Not that I found. And like I said,
Then that's not my problem, man.
ever since I've gotten here, it seems like Luis has had his eyes on me since I've gotten here.
I did notice that. Do you think he knows who you are?
That I don't think so because Larkin hasn't accused me or kicked me off the expedition or anything.
Hmm.
There was some past disagreements between the two of you. Is that not the case?
No, this was my first time meeting him. Similar to you guys.
Strange.
The waiter comes by and asks if you guys would like anything to drink.
Tea, if you have any.
Water.
Water, anything else?
I'm good with water too.
Just
Yes, I'd
tea,
like
if you
to
have any.
keep a fresh head about me, so water as well.
Okay, 3 water.
And tea, if you have any.
Absolutely, I can get you some tea. So the waiter writes down your orders, and Jesse he kind of looks and goes like, "I'm gonna head back to my hotel room, kind of unpack everything here. Tomorrow I'm gonna be heading over to the Museum of Archaeology. If you guys want to join me, you guys can meet me there. I'd be so happy to have some allies in this and get really to the bottom of this. And if there's any way I can compensate you guys at the end of it, because I know you guys came here for for the money or adventure, whatever it is that you guys want. you guys help me out, I'll do my best to help you guys out too.
I'll
I'd
tag along.
certainly be interested in joining, yes.
Perfect.
Money is money.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. So Jesse begins to kind of pack everything up and he heads back to the hotel. He's also staying in the Hotel Mori, similar to you guys. And he begins to leave the bar. So now it's just you four. You're at the bar, and a lot of information has been thrown your way. So I like to know kind of like what's on the mind of your characters right now.
Well,
I'll start.
well, I was going to say I'll start as well. Um, for Isaiah, it's certainly less than an auspicious start. Like this is not a good sign for future success to have these people at odds and playing multiple sides. For our person that put us together looks a little shady,
Hmm.
and this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah. So let's go down the list because Ida, what's on the mind of your character?
Ida is a little confused as to what's going on here, but also is now fully curious about what's going on. Um, not only if it has anything to do with why she's here, but also just in general, it's a curious situation.
Okay, James.
James is definitely kind of having second thoughts about coming here. The most prominent thought is, God, I hope this isn't more trouble than it's worth.
And Jethro.
Jethro's intrigued. He's kind of along for the ride at this point. He's not sure if he thinks that there's a death cult, but he does get that something is not right about what's going on here.
Okay. So you guys are a little bit new to Call of Cthulhu, so I am gonna do like a little bit of hand holding.
Thank you.
Feel feel free to yell at me if it becomes too much. I do tend to talk way too much. It is one of the biggest complaints I have as a DM because I get nervous. I've played with like a lot of new players, so please yell at me if it's too much. If I talk too much, essentially. So essentially with Call of Cthulhu, as I've told you guys before, is very much at its heart like a mystery, right? And you have this expedition, these shady characters, this Jackson Elias, also Jesse Hughes. That's it's all been thrown at you. You're staying at the Hotel Mori, but you know Larkin's at the Hotel Spagna. There's this museum that you might want to investigate, and there's a lot of different things you guys can do. As it's very sandboxy. You're in a city, and right now, you guys kind of have a day to do because Jackson Alliance wants to go to the museum tomorrow. But you guys have the day to kind of do whatever you guys want to do. Investigate, go where you decide you want to go. So you guys can take the time. You guys can do what your characters would normally. Maybe you guys just want to go to the hotel and just rest or just talk about things, see your lodgings. But keep in mind that it is now open to you guys. If you guys need a hint as well, another thing you can do is you can roll for your characters can roll for intelligence, and if it succeeds, I will give you a hint, and it'll be like your character came up with it essentially. So keep that in mind. But now you kind of have like some free time to yourself to kind of decide what you guys want to do.
I think there was a mechanical question in the chat too from Julia. If we When do we mark like experience with a skill used? Is it when we succeed or when we fail?
It will be when and you know what? I should have been on top of that. I should have told you. Yeah, so it'll be when you fail. You
Ah,
will
okay.
fill in the little button, And then the next time we play, or at the end, whichever you prefer, you will roll a d10 to increase that skill.
Thanks.
Yep. And no problem. I did not see the message there.
You're good.
As I said, Discord when I'm recording does not alert me for some reason, so I did not hear it. And I got my other test, so I do apologize for that.
No worries.
All right, so now you guys can discuss kind of what you want to do, what your thoughts are, and kind of like even introduce yourselves more to each other if you need
Mr. Whitaker, is it? Yes? Mr. Whitaker?
You can just call me James. He was sort of fiddling with this deck of cards
Oh,
in his hand.
James. Um, sure. You're here for the pay? Is that what I heard correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day some feller leaves an ad outside the saloon asking to come to some far-flung country across the ocean. So, well, I needed the cash.
And what brings the two of you here? Looking at the other two men.
I'm just here because I needed a change of pace. My muses seem to have left me, and so I am here looking for greener pastures. And you can see him kind of sketching the golden glass in a little book as he's talking.
You're an artist.
Yes, yes.
How fascinating.
I don't know, you may have seen some of my works, but it's been a while since I've had a show.
Oh, are you in any museums?
Um well, I've had some galleries, but nothing recently. I think the last one I think had a write up in the Times Picayune about I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Into the Met a few times, so if any of the
Oh no,
contemporary
no.
galleries.
That's very flattering, but I am not at quite at that level. I do also do advertisements though, so if any of y'all need something advertised, he does those like Art Nouveau style like big posters, which
Mm-hmm.
apparently, if this is in the 1920s, is a little out of fashion, but that works with the backstory.
Don't worry, I'm not going to be too strict about it.
And I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Oh, I'm Jethro K. Irvine.
Mr. Irvine. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You too. And what about you? Why are you here?
Oh, well, I was quite bored at home, and well, I'd seen my mother, I guess, had visited Peru when she was younger, and I never got the chance to ask her about it, so I thought I would, I don't know, follow her footsteps a little.
Well, what an exciting outing for you.
It appears so.
Mm,
Well,
Dr. Yeah, Dr. Franklin, was it?
Looking up fiercely from scribbling notes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Right. What brings me here? Well, I've been on a couple of expeditions. I'm a bit of a passion for anthropology and the occult, but truly I'm here because, well, on one of these expeditions, I don't know which one's really a mystery that needs solving in and of itself. My father disappeared in South America, so I'm hoping to find some evidence of where he went, what his goal was, and Peru is as good as any other place.
how ghastly. I hope we can find some information about your father.
I appreciate your concern, Miss Ida.
Yeah, you can call me Josie. lady was my father's preference. He's a bit old-fashioned.
Well, Dr. Franklin, if you've done some of these before, like this is not ordinary, right? This isn't how these things usually play out.
No, this is quite odd. Once again, I don't mean any offense to anyone here, but normally there are specialists of these things, people that are good at something or another. Occasionally, we have someone that's there for the thrill, but rarely, and once again, I don't mean offense, rarely is someone here for the money that doesn't bring a specific skill set.
As you guys continue to get to know each other more, you know, sun begins to kind of set, changing the map to kind of reflect that a little bit. But
Question
you,
for you.
yes,
Because I know originally in what I wrote up was that Josie offered to help fund the expedition. Was that accepted, or was she just invited without that?
it was denied, and you were still invited.
Okay, got it.
It was and I should have told you this. He was originally interested in taking the money, but then eventually, for some reason, he just decided not to. But he still invited you and want. He was in your letters. He was insistent that you join.
Suspicious. Okay. Yes, I am curious, Mr. Whittaker. What experiences you bring? I mean, in truth, I'm not one to talk really when it comes to expeditions.
James lifts up his right arm and flexes his bicep.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Are we expecting much of that? I mean, I did bring weapons, but well, for a lady traveling alone.
well, I don't quite know what we're going to be finding out there in that there jungle, but I do know I can lift things and punch things pretty damn hard.
Ah,
Fair enough.
And as for weaponry, don't none of you mind.
what kind of weaponry did you bring, Josie?
My rifle and a pistol.
Okay,
Revolver, to be specific.
okay, all right. So night falls on the Bar Cordano here. Uh, the more people seem to be coming in because it is a bar. So, uh, so now that it's getting kind of late, what are you guys thinking about doing
James is looking to head to the hotel at this hour.
now? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Um,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Isaiah's likely looking to, if there are some locals that come into this bar, maybe talk to some of the locals and do some independent research.
Some independent research. Okay.
Yeah, can't just trust the word of the supposed journalist.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And anybody else or everybody besides Dr. Franklin gonna do some independent research
I think Jethro is also going to, but at the hotel bar. Like
at the
he's
hotel bar?
gonna get
Okay.
settled in and then go downstairs and kind of talk to the bartender, see who else is there.
So we have one person going to the locals and then three people going to the hotel, but one of them gonna try to talk to people in the bar or the hotel bar essentially. And okay,
Actually, I don't think I'm going to the hotel yet.
you're not gonna go to the hotel. Okay.
No. I think this is Josie's first time out of the state of New York, I think. So, uh, is going to uh find a trustworthy service to pay to drive her around. Are we in like a city?
Yeah, it
Where
is
I
a
don't know.
city. Lima is a
Oh, in Lima. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, to drive her around to see the sights.
to see the sights. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, first, so then Dr. Franklin and Josie, I'm going to save you two for last because we're going to do the hotel first. Okay.
Mhm.
So you guys get up from the bar, certainly go your separate ways. Um, here, Hotel Mori. So essentially, this is what your rooms will kind of look like for you guys. You each have your own individual rooms, and uh, there's no bar in this map that I got. However, we can, for the sake of the game, because it does sound fun, pretend that this little like area here is like a bar or something.
Yeah.
You mean use our imaginations?
Exactly. The theater of the mind, as I said earlier,
The
we can just
horror.
we can pretend that that is the bar. So as
This
you
is the
are,
worst.
no, don't say that. So as you guys arrive, it's not as obviously like packed as the bar Cordano was when you guys left, but there's still like a couple people around. Obviously, there's the front desk, and he's just he's just like doing his job, and he looks at the two coming into the hotel, and he kind of waves you guys over, and he goes, names.
James
Jeff,
Whittaker.
Whittaker, okay, and Jethro.
yeah, Jethro K. Irvine.
Jethro K. Irvine. He goes through a list of papers, and he goes like, "Ah, you were part of the Larkin party."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He gives you both your room keys, and then goes back to doing what he was doing. Jethro, will be your room where I'm pinging
Which one?
right here.
Okay, perfect. I
And
can stumble back in.
yes, and James, your room will be the opposite. You guys have the rooms in the
Or
furthest back because I said so. And so these will be your rooms. So I believe who was it that was going to talk to the bar patrons?
Jethro.
Jethro. Okay, so James, James, what are you doing here?
James is just gonna take his room keys and head to his room, where he's just gonna unload, unwind. It's been a long, long trip. He has never ever been on a boat, so he's
Okay.
I suppose jet lagged isn't the right word.
Okay, so he's going through something right now. Okay. So I will you get ready for bed, and let me is there anything you want to do before we kind of end the night for you, Mr. Jethro? I'm not Jethro, James.
No.
Nope, you just hopping into bed.
Yeah, well, he's gonna take a shower first,
Shit,
and then
yeah, do
he'll
all that
go to
stuff.
bed.
Gotcha. Okay. So James, he kind of separates from you, Jethro, and he's tired. He's jet lagged. First time on a ship. He's ready to just get the rest that he needs. Jethro, what are you up to here now?
I'm going to go to my room and unpack everything, and then just take my sketchbook with me to the lobby or to the bar. And I guess I'll order. I'll try to order a Sazerac if they have it in Lima. And if they don't, he'll settle for a whiskey.
You're gonna
And
you're gonna have to settle for that whiskey.
yeah. And he's just gonna start sketching like patrons and what the hotel looks like. But every once in a while, when the bartender comes over, he'll ask a little bit about like what kind of people usually come here, if this is like a popular spot for expeditions. They seemed pretty nonplussed when they said that we were with the Larkin party. Um, and then yeah, if anybody comes up to the bar, I'll make small talk with them. But for now, it's just the bartender.
Okay, so the bartender, he comes up, he takes your order for a whiskey, and he says, well, this is a very popular spot here in Lima. We get tourists all the time. So, in the way of expeditions, he hasn't seen a lot of them. He doesn't really, he meets a lot of different people. Larkin being somebody who's rich and staying, because the Hotel Mori, for its humble kind of digs that you're seeing, is actually one of the nicer hotels in the city.
Mm.
And he says that like they're just used to rich people coming, reserving rooms, and he sees a lot of different kind of people. And however, he hasn't met Larkin himself, as he's not even staying in this hotel. He's staying in the Hotel Escania. So he just knows him as some rich guy who kind of reserved rooms.
Hmm. I'm gonna ask about the curse.
The
Um,
curse. Oh,
yeah, but in kind of like a conspiratorial, like, ha ha, don't you think this is so funny way?
he gets a little offended because it is the beliefs of his people, and he goes like, some of our people, we, it is kind of silly in a way, but we have a lot of superstitions that have come down since the time of the conquistadors and all that kind of stuff, and that there have been a rising amount of missing people in Lima recently. So he tells you like he thinks like that's possibly where some of these stories might be kind of coming from, as they're kind of like rearing their head recently amongst the locals.
What is the curse? Like, is it just that people are disappearing, or is it that like, is there more to it than that?
So the curse of he doesn't know about any curse in particular, but he thinks you're talking about is the Karasiri, which is what the locals are saying is happening to the kidnapped people. That these Karasiri are these fat sucking vampires are coming and grabbing people. He similarly doesn't really believe in it, but he just thinks that he starts like talking about politics and blaming the local government essentially
Okay.
for rising crime.
I'll commiserate, and I think that's all the questions I have. So I'll just,
Perfect.
yeah, the rest is just normal small talk.
All right, so now we'll go to our two people who are not at the hotel, and will be Josie and Dr. Isaiah Franklin. Uh, who would like to go first here?
Yeah, I'll volunteer.
Okay, so and we're gonna hop back over to kind of the Hotel Cordano at night. And so we're gonna assume that you're kind of outside of the bar. Tell me what is your character doing? What's he thinking? What's his plan right now?
So this all seems suspicious, and there's too much. A lot of people have mentioned the locals this, the locals that. So I just want to see if I can meet a few of the locals and see what they actually think. If there's a superstition, if they think there's curses here, what they think of the good explorer Augustus, things like that.
Okay. So are you thinking you're asking people like in the bar, or are you leaving the bar and asking?
Probably start at the bar,
Probably started.
and if I don't meet anyone of particular like help, then I might venture out into the streets.
All right, so let's talk about the bar. So Bar Cordano is a fairly famous bar in Lima, Peru. I think it's a real bar that's famous today. And so you see a lot of different people. So you see a lot of tourists similar to yourself. You see some of richer Hispanic looking men and women kind of around. And you see a couple people drinking kind of at the bar, kind of like down here where I'm kind of pinging. And there are a couple people there drinking alone, particularly at the bar.
I'm still seeing the hotel.
You're still seeing the hotel because I didn't move you because I'm dumb. And now you're back. I'm so sorry. But like down here at the bar, you kind of see people drinking alone, and then you see like tourists kind of hanging out and some like richer Hispanic men over
Hmm. All right, I'm a go initially towards the people drinking alone. If I
there.
see them drinking a particular drink, I'll try to buy them a similar drink.
All right, so you see, similar to what Jethro had, so one of them is drinking a whiskey, and he's just kind of there. He's kind of drinking. He looks a little sad, but he's just looks like any other normal guy.
I do want to say for the record, I do speak Spanish.
Yes, so that would mean that you can, in fact, talk to any of the Hispanic men at this table. So anybody who speaks Spanish here, you will be able to translate and speak to them.
All right, so yeah, I'm looking for any local that I think is going to be. I'm just gonna welcome and say, hi, excuse me, can I have just a moment of your time?
So are you talking to the Hispanic man or the guy at the bar?
The Hispanic man.
Okay, the Hispanic man. Hispanic man, he looks at you. He's got a bit of a small beard, and he goes like, yeah, what's up?"
It's
Obviously, he says
just
that in Spanish.
yeah. I don't speak it. Isaiah does. So
Right? Yeah, of course.
um I was just wondering if you had heard of these pyramids and treasure and gold. I hear a lot about it, and I was just professional curiosity, what you might know. I'm doing a bit of research.
He sits there and he thinks for a moment. He's like, I heard of some kind of expedition that the museum was excited to be a part of or something like that, but we do not but I haven't heard too much. And we have a lot of Incan uh sites up in the Andes mountains, but I pay no attention to that.
So you don't know of any local legends, or maybe where I could go and talk to someone that may be a
I'll
lot
tell you what I do
well
know.
versed.
I do know these Kirasiri that the people keep talking about for kidnappings. Uh, I don't know if you know this, but the Kirasiri, they're uh, usually white men who do that. Our people will never do that. The Kirasiris are always Europeans that come here and ruin everything.
Uh, I appreciate your forthright honesty. Can I buy you a drink just as a thank you for the information?
He says, yeah, you can buy me an escabeche, which is this hot, sweet, sour fish dish.
Absolutely.
So he gets you pay for his dinner. He's happy, and he goes on now on a tirade about Europeans and what they're doing to Peru.
Yeah, I probably don't entertain it for that long. I'm just like, well, thank you again for your time, friend. I hope to make your acquaintance again.
Yes,
I will
anytime, and he's happy because you paid for his meal.
I will likely leave the bar if this is feeling like a more famous and affluent place. I want to get to some locals that might. It's strange that he hadn't heard anything about curses, but I want to talk to some more locals
Yeah.
that
So I want.
might have a
So I'm going
superstitious
to.
quality.
Yes. So I'm going to actually. Let's see. So the thing with the curse is that when Larkin mentioned it, it's a curse around the pyramids, right? That only the locals of that area know. So I'm gonna make active now uh in your handouts here. Moment. I had it and I lost it. I had it. Where the hell did it go? Oh, was this the same one? Okay. So, and to everybody in your handouts, the Lima Peru map, see it there. If you
Nice.
zoom in on it, you should see uh, not on the small map, but on the kind of the big map of South America. You should see like Lima, and then all the way at the bottom of the country, ruins.
Hmm.
So the people of Lima have not really heard about the curses in Puno or around that area. That's only something Augustus learned when he was doing his investigation. However, there have been kidnappings in Lima, and that's why more people know about the Karasiri than they do about this curse. I want you to keep that in mind. Remember,
Repeat
there.
that.
Oh,
You want me to repeat it?
Not the whole thing, just the last part.
Yeah. So, just keep in mind that like this is a pretty again, this is like a few days drive. This is in the 1920s. Like the information doesn't really travel as fast here. So while some people who are more like interested in like archaeology and all that stuff might know about those curses that you're asking about, um, people are only really going to hear about the kidnappings and things like that from about the Karasiri. So that's why.
That makes sense. That
yeah.
is pretty far down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How
I didn't know it was that much distance
that's
between the two. So knowing that now, I'm probably not gonna find any information. The information on the car series was useful though, so I'll probably
yeah.
head towards the
Honestly, I
hotel.
wanted to just my plan was to actually only give that map to Josie because she was going to she was going to get the car service and it was going to have a map of the Lima district as you can see there. So that was my plan to have a little fun there with handouts, but I figured, oh, you guys don't realize how far away this thing is. I got to show everybody.
I
So,
did not realize how
yeah.
far away it was. So
I know
knowing
that's
that
why.
now, I'm probably just heading back to the hotel.
You're just going to head back to the hotel. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And Josie, sorry for how long it's been, but now
No worries.
you are now in your car and you've ordered the fanciest cab service that essentially money can buy.
Mm.
And similarly, you now have the map. You were going to be the only one to have this in your inventory. However, I needed to now show people the size. But if you look at the smaller map, which would be handed to you by the car service, these are kind of like the major kind of areas of Lima and how large it is. And, you know, that'll be that.
Yeah, she really just wants a like mini tourism sightseeing drive around. Um,
Okay.
she would ask like, "Oh, have you heard anything strange going on lately? About heard rumors of cults?"
And the car service kind of gives you the same kind of feel everybody else got. It's just there have been like a lot of weird kidnappings in place, but again, he thinks it's like he's been hearing things of like Karasiri sightings and stuff like that. But Again, he thinks it's all superstition. He doesn't give you as much information as the man in the bar does. He just, it's just like these monsters that, they tell for children scary stories when they're kids. But he thinks it's just crime going up, essentially, similarly.
So tip him well.
So you tip him well and you head back to the hotel?
Yep.
Okay. So now that everybody's kind of done doing their stuff and everybody's kind of back at the hotel, I want all of you to make a roll. And I want all of you, and I need to see. Oh, man. I want you all to make a luck roll. Okay. So Josephine, Ida, Josephine, von Rensselaer, you are the only one who rolled a success. So now we're going to start with Dr. Isaiah. As you get back to your hotel room, and I'm just going to ping, this is your room over here. Hopefully I brought everybody back. You find on this chair, there's a letter from your father on the chair.
I'm sorry, can you ping once more?
Absolutely.
Okay. That music was ominous.
Nah, don't worry about it. Doesn't mean anything.
I mean, if there's a letter on the chair, I'm gonna, especially if it says it's from my father, I have to read it.
As you open it up, the letter, you can see it's a very short letter written to you. It's in your father's handwriting, and it it just says, "Thank you for coming, son. I need your help. You must find me. Go to the pyramids."
Hmm. That seems suspicious to me. I
Mm,
don't know if it would seem suspicious to my character. I feel like it would. Is there anything I can roll to see if it feels suspicious to me? Like too convenient?
too convenient, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, does seem that way. Does truly seem that way. I want now, James.
Yo.
I want you now, uh, essentially to roll a willpower check.
Boy. Let's see, where is Will? Where is Will?
Oh, it's power. It's power. It should be under your stats.
Ah, toy. I'm a bit of a dingus.
Okay. So while you're in bed, James, you begin to have dreams of Ulysses. However, you can't seem to really you feel him calling to you. You feel your family calling to you, essentially pushing you to save them in your dreams. but the power of that dream does not. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you that much, and you're able to kind of resist whatever urges that may come from it.
Word.
So, very lucky for you there. And who was my other failure here?
Jethro.
Jethro. All right, Jethro. Second here. So Jethro, as you are at the bar, you haven't gone back up to bed yet, I believe, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
I meant to ask you this because I didn't get a lot from your backstory here.
Yeah.
So, and in order to keep some of it private, I'm gonna message you here in the background.
Okay.
Just to get a little more info, I do need to just to make sure here.
Yeah, it got away from me. Um,
Okay. So as you're kind of drinking after you talk a couple bit, you're drinking a bit, you can see out of the corner of your eye a silhouette of a woman who looks fairly familiar to you. It almost looks like your ex of some kind.
oh.
And you see her out of the corner of your eye, and she kind of like turns the corner, kind of at this patio where I'm pinging.
He gets up and follows.
Okay. As you follow, uh, as you exit outside, there's nobody there.
Weird. He kind of shakes his head and he's like, ah, too much to drink. It's time to go to bed.
All right. So you head up to bed, and who is my only successful person?
Would be me, Josie.
Josie, you go to sleep and you have a good night. You have an excellent night. You have happy dreams. Nothing wrong has happened to you.
It's so nice to be in fresh air.
So, Franklin here, you're the only one. Anything you do after the letter?
Um, if there's nothing I can do, then inspect it to validate it. Probably stay up longer than necessary, just overthinking it before finally getting to sleep.
You can. There's is like you do have an appraise roll you can use.
I'd
You
like to
can
try to appraise it.
you'd like to appraise, see if it's like a legitimate letter, make sure like the handwriting's correct. Yeah, go ahead, do an appraise roll. And
Nice.
you can, however you do. Oh, I do have to say, mainly because you failed it, and that's actually a pretty high skill for you. When your skill gets because if you fail, you get to roll for the improvement. When you get a skill up to, I believe, and I have to double check this, either 80 or 90, you get to essentially increase your luck. You get a luck roll to increase how much luck you have.
All right.
So there is like a little bonus to becoming like, because like you also get more sanity as well. That's the other thing, because people tend to find comfort as they sort of master a skill. So those are the couple things that you get. And I only noticed that because like you failed it and it's kind of high. You're not gonna probably raise it to 90, obviously not by next week, but let's just keep that in mind.
Noted.
Okay, so everybody you know, everybody has like a little thing that happens, and we are now everybody goes to sleep, and we wake up, and now we're back here in the morning of the Hotel Mori after everyone goes to sleep, and now we can just kind of stop the creepy music, go back to a 1920 speakeasy kind of music. Isn't that more happy, guys? Nothing to worry about.
Sure.
Lies and deceit.
I would never do that to you guys. I would never
I don't know what you guys are worried
plot.
about. It's just a death cult, maybe.
That's nothing. This is just a boring game of people going on Peru for a vacation, work vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the death cult.
All right. So you guys this morning, you're supposed to meet Jackson Elias at the Museum of Archaeology. However, you guys have kind of a couple hours to go ahead and do that. Um, the actual trip to the ruins will not be until Sunday. Uh, Augustus Larkin did leave his number here at the hotel front desk in case you need to contact him for any questions or anything like that.
Actual day is it today?
Today is Friday. All right, so let's start out with uh Jethro. How are you starting your morning?
Nursing a little bit of a hangover, but if there is time to go to the museum and just be a tourist before we meet with the curator, I think he'd like to do that. He'd like to get there a little early.
All right, depends on how fast you guys leave, but there might be time for that. All right, James. Bright and early. What does James do?
James does his morning routine. He gets up, gets dressed, washes his face, does a morning prayer, and then heads out to procure a glass of orange juice.
The bar, in fact, does have an orange juice. We can say that you meet up with Jethro. You see him out there, um, you know, and that's you guys can kind of meet there. Let's go with Dr. Isaiah Franklin. What is your how was your night? What's going on now with you?
I am downstairs, coffee, toast, papers of letters and everything sprawn about the table, just all over the place, matching any previous letter or written material from my father to the letter I just got last night. Like I am full connecting dots. It's all connected.
Full conspiracy. Full Pepe Sylvia. Okay. I would say that James and Jethro both see you. I wouldn't say you're making a scene, but you definitely look different than the other patrons eating breakfast. You guys should be able to spot him pretty quick. And last but not least, Josie, tell me a bit about her morning routine. You slept like a damn baby.
Surprising, because the bed's for sure not nearly as nice as her bed.
All right, so maybe she was a little uncomfortable, but not for any other reason.
Yeah. No, she probably first thing she does when she wakes up is she pens a letter to her father to send when she has the chance to go to a post office. Just apologizing for leaving without telling him and assuring him that she is well and good
Okay,
and will return home when she damn well pleases. But she doesn't say damn.
very independent.
And then she will head out and search of breakfast.
All right. So, similarly to the other two, you probably find Dr. Franklin kind of pretty easily compared to the rest of the patrons. Um, so you guys again, pretty much you guys have all day to do whatever you guys want to do. Uh, I know Jethro wanted to see the museum and stuff like that, but you know, the world's your oyster.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Sleep
Good
well?
mo-
Quite well. And you?
I don't know if the mountain air here is agreeing with me, but we'll get better once we get out of the city, I'm sure.
I'm.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no. I was just. I imagine it's different from. Where are you from exactly?
Oh,
Somewhere
yeah.
south of the
Yeah,
states.
I'm from New Orleans. Yeah.
Ah.
You can tell by the thick New Orleans accent.
Mm,
It would be
yeah.
Nolans.
Yeah. She's really soaking it in now. It's like,
It's really
oh, of
strong.
course, of
New
course.
Orleans.
A lot of the word shrimp being thrown around. Bubba Gump.
I haven't seen that many talkies, with actors from New Orleans. So
We are practically neighbors.
Where are you from, friend?
Gainesville, Georgia.
Ah, I have to say I haven't had the pleasure, but it's always nice to meet a fellow Southerner.
what's it like
Likewise.
down there, may I ask?
Humid,
Ah, well, much
but the
like
people are full of life.
that's
Just about the
lovely.
prettiest place this side of the states.
Where are you from?
Ah, New York.
Ah, the big city.
Yes, that's where I live most of the time.
I figured you for a city slicker.
Well, I was born in the countryside, still New York though, so sure quite different from the country you're used to.
I'm just
Wow.
imagining Franklin furiously writing down just.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by hicks.
Dr.
I think
Franklin.
occasionally you hear a chime though. Oh, that's wonderful.
Dr. Franklin, where are you from? You're a teacher?
Sorry, I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, we were just discussing where we all come from, and
Oh,
I assume by your moniker that you teach.
yes, I'm actually a professor at Boston University. Um, and
Oh,
by the name, I'm sure you could guess, but I stay in Boston.
sounds wonderful. Always wanted to
What's
visit.
all this going on here?
Right. Well, last night I received a letter, which is odd, but the handwriting on it, and just pulls out the letter, is a dead ringer for my father,
Your missing father?
my missing father.
James kind of narrows his eyes and goes, "That seems a little convenient."
And
How bizarre.
that's exactly what I thought, but the writing is impeccable.
How could your father possibly know that you're here? Which room you're staying in?
These are all mysteries to me, and yet, and I will pull out like the letter I got last night, as well as like I'm gonna say the last letter I got from my father, and just kind of show them. Uh, as you can see here, it's everything: diction, choices, punctuation, signature. It's perfectly matched.
Can I also do an appraise roll just as like the artist, like being able to match the
Yeah,
handwritings with the
absolutely.
letters? Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, a success. So you compare the two letters, and it is a perfect and exact match.
Okay.
But it's still kind of strange because the letter itself compared to the other I'm assuming Dr. Franklin has other letters from his father, correct?
Yes.
It's used on like the paper is aged exactly the same as the other letters. So it's almost like that was a letter that like he wrote at the same time as the other letters. It's not a new letter.
I would also like to attempt an appraise roll.
Go ahead. You glean nothing.
Well, glasses, I think you done found your daddy.
But yes,
Well, this is
Jethro, you have that information.
okay. And I'll just share it by I'll say, no, curious. Like, when did you get this letter? You said last night.
Yes, last night it was waiting for me on a chair in my room. It was unsettling and certainly suspicious, but I can't find fault in it.
I can say, that is quite odd since it looks like, and he takes two of the letters and says, it looks like it was written at the same time. You see how the paper's yellowed a little, but no, you're right. You know your father's handwriting. It seems to be an exact match.
A waiter
Um,
comes by and drops off more of your orders. This is
it's quite
the
strange.
the DM telling you that time does still go on as well. Keep that in mind.
Oh, we were supposed to meet with oh, I can't remember his name anymore. The reporter, the journalist.
Jackson
Yes,
Elias.
yes, Jackson.
Mr. Hughes? Yes.
I've let time get away from me. There's more time for this. Certainly, you bring up a very interesting point. If he wrote this letter at the same time, why wouldn't he send it and let me know where he was if he needed help? It's quite strange.
Mm,
A mystery for later.
yes. We'll put a pin in it while we go and keep our appointment.
All right. Is there anything else you like to do before you go? Any from anybody?
James pulls out a pack of gum and just kind of like motions to everyone. And y'all want some gum?
Ooh, yes, thank you.
All right, here you go. And he pulls out a strip,
Oh, certainly.
and he pulls out another strip.
Try some. Thank you.
Sorry, I only have the two strips.
Oh, all
Oh.
right.
And then he
Sorry.
pulls out a third strip and pops it in his mouth.
It's a little perplexed, but doesn't say it.
Oh,
And then he kind of just elbows Julia and hands her a strip of gum.
Me? I'm
Sorry,
not there. I'm kidding.
not Julia. Jethro.
he's
Nope, wrong again.
transcended.
The other guy. That person there who wanted gum and didn't get any.
Josie or Mrs. Van Rensselaer? Either will work.
Yeah,
Thank
alright, Peaches.
you. Oh,
All right.
He's
So, how are you guys planning on getting there to the museum? Taxi would be my guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys finish up You have some fun with the gum, and you guys end up at the museum. Let's see, I have some tokens already ready on the board. You guys arrive over here. You guys taking the sights of Lima, Peru. It's a little bit humid. You know, it's in South America. You guys arrive here in front of this grand big museum. Now, this museum is attached to the university as well in South America. Franklin, you might be able to, get along with people a little bit more with your credentials as well. So keep that in mind. And but yeah, you guys finally arrive here.
Are we
Well,
early? Like, do we have time before our meeting?
You guys are
I hope
not
so.
there super early, but you guys are there about, I would say, instead of being there an hour early, you guys are there about 30 minutes.
Okay. While I don't have good dialogue for this, I imagine Isaiah is using every ounce of their anthropology like teachings to like talk about different things here at this museum to anyone that will listen to me.
Josie is
With
listening with
not
rapt
listening.
attention.
Just, yes, and this one here, you see, it was discovered actually in
In the 1876. But
yeah.
right now, you guys first got to go through the door. You guys are just looking at the building. This over here, this young lady is the receptionist. To that you'll have to speak to first before. So as you guys walk in together, the receptionist looks at you all and goes like, "Hi, how can I help you?" In Spanish, of course.
It's my time to shine. I'll speak back. Hello, we're here. I'm sorry, I have now just forgotten the person we were here to meet.
His name is
Jackson
Professor
Elias.
Sanchez. Well, you're here
Ah,
to meet Professor Sanchez, but Jackson Elias did set up.
yes.
Oh, I thought he was coming.
He is, but you guys are 30 minutes early.
Okay,
W-
okay.
We're here to meet Professor Sanchez. Jackson Elias set up the meeting. We're more than happy to look around if the professor is not ready to receive visitors.
Oh, absolutely. And she kind of like she's like, "Oh yeah, we were expecting you soon. Like, please, like, go ahead and take a look around the museum. Uh, if you if you feel the need to. He's in the office down the hall. So she's pointing like kind of like at this hall over here, and then you'll make a right. So like over here, obviously, and you can tell by the other token I have, this is his office. So down the hall to the right, and then the big room is his office when you're ready to see him in about 30 minutes.
Thank you so much for your help. I greatly appreciate it.
Okay. So she allows you all in for free because you guys had a scheduled meeting. You guys on today, and you see a bunch of artifacts all around the museum. Dr. Franklin, you're probably going crazy with joy seeing this. And it's the building itself is a dark yellow building. It's paid for by the university, and you see a bunch of Incan artifacts and artifacts from like other tribes, kind of like stationed around everything.
I will just she said that we could go into, and I'll point as we're walking in towards in about 30 minutes when our appointment actually is, we can go and see the good professor there. But in the meantime, and that's when the whole sales pitch starts on everything.
Okay, I want everybody to roll a spot hidden.
Ooh.
Suspicious.
Oh,
Oh,
so as you all are with varying interest listening to Dr. Isaiah Franklin explanation about a lot of these artifacts going on and a lot of his knowledge. Uh, Ida, you notice a suspicious
What?
man in a black robe going down the stairs of the museum.
I apologize, Doctor. This is all extremely interesting. Did you see that gentleman over there?
I will also add to that because it is an extreme success, he had a very, very pale white skin that you could see. He's hidden in a cloak, but from his face, you see it as extremely pale and white.
Uh, Real quick, I accidentally did sleight of hand rather than spot hidden.
Oh,
I did roll a spot hidden afterwards and got a success.
all right. So your spot, we're gonna count it. You also notice the man in the black robe. However, you don't see his face like Ida does, but you do notice the black robe.
Well,
Did,
that feller was dressed funny.
oh, you saw him too? It
Yeah, that
was
feller went down the stairs.
ever so odd. I mean, I'm pale, but he was almost looked deathly.
What do you bet that was that feller what gave us the job? He was looking
Did it look
bit
like him?
ghostly and sweaty.
It did not look like him, but the fact that James brought that up, you do think it looked like Luis de Mendoza.
Oh, you know,
Ooh.
it did look like Mr. Mendoza, actually.
What, that Hispanic feller?
Yes.
Weren't he, you know, tan?
Was he?
He was whiter. He wasn't tan. He was whiter, but he did look Hispanic.
No, I believe he was quite pale himself.
Which
Weird.
way? Oh,
Oh, right over there, down those stairs.
I will ping it out for everyone. He went down these stairs.
I might. Y'all can go to the meeting if you want. I want to take a look see and see what's happening with him. I'm sure, Dr. Franklin, you'll get the most out of the meeting with the archaeologist.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do we have
You
time? Like,
know,
how far away is our meeting?
So I would say at this point, because you were looking around, we'll say
yeah.
that. Let's see, you guys got there 30 minutes early. We'll say 15 minutes have gone by.
I think I can miss the meeting as long as y'all fill me in. I
Uh,
I'm more interested in what Mendoza's doing here.
I can certainly see to it that our meeting is attended, and you can investigate the mystery. I would love to know what you find.
How about this? Spectacles, Peaches, both of you go on and see our funky journalist friend while me and them go down the stairs to see about some weird dressed feller.
Sounds right to me.
Oh, right.
All right, so
But
if you guys can, drag your tokens to the map so we can kind of just keep track of them.
as they're about to like head off, I think Isaiah goes, just quick question for you. I get why I'm called Spectacles. Why is she Peaches?
Oh, well, she seems like a sweet type.
Suppose I do seem that way.
All right. Ida and Jethro, do you guys know how to pull out your tokens?
I do not. This is my first roll 20
All
experience.
right. Perfect. I get to teach. All right, cool. It's
What's
very
a what?
easy. You just
Nerd.
when you're hovering over your name, just left click and hold it and drag it out to the map.
Oh, nice. Easy.
It's very easy. Something got done today. I got to teach. Perfect. Okay. So now we have kind of like a visual. So for those of you going to the stairs, just put your token kind of around the stairs where you guys are moving to, and the others going into the office go that way. So Jethro, okay, perfect. This is so perfect for me because I get confused. Okay, so I'm going to now ask: are you sure you want to separate?
Oh no.
Well, now that you say that,
Exactly. So you have
Right.
no choice. Now it's going to happen. I just
all
wanted to
right.
say that.
Okay. Right.
I I
It was a
do
trap.
think
Mm.
I
Glory.
think as we get like closer to the office, as I was like, it's simply talking to the good professor. I don't mind if you would rather seek out the thrills of adventure.
Uh, I mean, I'm curious either way, to be honest. If I could make a copy of myself, I'd happily do both. I,
It's,
I, perhaps I would draw too much attention trying to sneak around. I don't know.
they seem like strong fellows. I'm sure they could handle it, but we may just get in the way.
In
I
truth, I'm not
certainly
much
know
use
I'm not physically
at close
capable
quarters.
much. I'm a thinking man.
Right. Yes. Prefer not to. I mean, hopefully they don't get into any sort of fight. Do you think?
They may. Did you said you brought firearms? Yes.
Um, yes. Although
I
I'm not particularly good with the revolver, I'd prefer to be a little further away.
certainly didn't bring any, so you would be more helpful in a fight than I.
Good to know.
Trying to
Do,
recover it here. I see.
do you do you think I should go with them?
Can I do that intelligence check to see if my character would think that might be the best idea?
Absolutely, yeah.
Use that for a hint. I'm allegedly intelligent.
All right, so it's success. Your character would think, yeah, it's probably smarter for her to kind of go.
Yeah, truthfully, yes, I do believe you may be. They may need you and your expertise with or without the revolver, just in case.
Very well. You have more experience in this type of thing, so
And I will
at your
keep you
suggestion.
updated for certain.
Of course. Good luck.
Yeah, you as well. Hopefully, you do not have to use the firearms.
All right, so we now have our actually it's not the first party break because you guys kind of broke the first night. But okay, so we're gonna start with Franklin before we go to you guys over there by the stairs. And you notice that the door is closed, but if you look inside Dr. Sanchez's office, you actually see two people in the room. It turns out Jesse Hughes or Jackson Elias, he was already here. He snuck in. He's good friends with the professor. He got in before the receptionist got in. He's been here just talking with the professor the whole time. So you kind of look in through the door and you see them both talking.
Okay. Well, I have to ask, is there a chance I may be able to eavesdrop a bit before making my presence known?
I'm so glad you asked because I was actually going to probably recommend it to the others since you guys are new. You probably were not aware of this skill. But if you look, you should see a listen skill precisely for that kind of question.
Mm, I'm not particularly good at that skill, but let's find out.
Maybe I should have stayed with you.
And you did in fact fail. I do also want to make sure to keep in mind it hasn't been super. If you want to pass a roll, you can spend your currency. Your luck is also a currency. You not only
Just
roll
spent
for luck,
66 luck points.
yes. So if you want, you can spend all of your luck.
You know, as much as I would like to, I think I'll save the luck for another time.
There is also one other option you have, and that is not the only option. You can push your roll, which means in for Call of Cthulhu, is you can roll the listen again, and but if you fail it again, it is a fumble, a critical failure.
You may not know this about me, but I like to live dangerously.
All right, would you like to push it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
All right,
Jesus.
We die today.
and it
Yes,
is a
that's what we do.
failure, and because it is a second failure, it is an automatic critical failure. So as you bend over to listen and try to eavesdrop, you accidentally smack your head on the doorknob. And not only do you take 1d2 of damage, you also alert them that there's somebody outside the door. And Jackson Elias comes out and he's like, Dr. Franklin, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite the klutz, actually. I'm sorry about that. I was making my way to the professor for our meeting, and what a strange coincidence you're already here.
Yes, I've known I've known Professor Sanchez for quite a long time. I was going to meet you guys in 15 minutes at the front. I just wanted to make
Oh,
sure that he was aware of what was going on. Are you okay? He sees a big red mark on your head.
as I said, bit of a klutz, but yes, I'll be fine. I assure you.
Well, come in. Are the rest of are the rest of the group with you?
You know, they decided not to pursue the academic endeavors.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Are they still planning on helping with with Larkin?
I certainly believe so. I think they much rather see the sights of the city, engage in mysteries.
I see. Well, I guess we'll let them know our findings in a better. Come on in and Jackson Elias, he pulls out his he kind of has like a I forget what they call it, like an ascot or like the napkin that goes in like the shoulder pocket, and he offers it to you as to kind of like heal the wound. Um,
You are quite. Thank you so much. That's quite nice of you.
so you sit down here on the couch next to it, and Jackson goes like, Professor Sanchez, this is my friend. He's also part of the expedition. This is a Doctor Franklin. He's also a professor, similar to yourself. And Professor Sanchez, he perks up and he goes like, "Oh, really? What do you study?"
Well, I actually teach anthropology and occult studies. I have a doctorate in both, as it were.
Oh, that's so interesting because our my good friend here, Mister Elias, he's written many books about the occult.
Truly.
Yes, and they're actually, and honestly, this is a mistake on my end, but because of you're a professor of the occult, it should snap into your head now that the person you're looking at is the famous writer Jackson Elias. He has actually written many books. Particularly, his most famous one is "The Bloody Tongue," about a cult in Africa.
It did not occur to me that you would be here on this expedition. The name didn't even click until just this moment. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I was wondering when it would. I was wondering if you would recognize me, after hearing about what you do. But yes, that's me, and I'm here writing my next book.
I have taught lectures on your work. Phenomenal.
Yes, well, I'm glad we have another student of the academics here. Please, Professor Sanchez, please tell him what you told us about the Kara series and what's happening around Lima so Professor Sanchez he kind of takes a seat and he goes like, yeah, so the current superstition that's going around is that the Kara series are essentially these fat sucking vampires, and they're these monsters that will drain you until you're nothing but essentially a skeleton. And these myths and these superstitions come from around when the conquistadors were prevalent here in South America. Because Europeans tend to be whiter and paler, that was the name given to them, which has evolved into folklore. Now, Mr. Elias here was asking about the pyramids that Mr. Larkin is going on, and Mr. Larkin has not answered any inquiries I've sent. I've wanted to uh, go on this expedition because to be quite honest, as much as I'm sure he's going there for the money, is I just can't stand foreign grave robbers coming to my country and taking what are these great discoveries. These discoveries that he's going on belong to a museum. However, what I have on me, and this is what Mr. Elias has asked me for, is also know the approximate location of the pyramid that Mr. Larkin is talking about. And he kind of gives you he pulls out a map. It will be the same map that's already in your handouts that show where the ruins are. If you look at the big portion of it, that is the location of the pyramids. My hope was to get the artifacts and bring them here to the museum.
Share a similar mind in that I believe that the artifacts do belong to a museum and to their rightful people to display and not belong in some rich person's treasury.
I agree. I feel I do not feel good about allowing some rich person to just loot these marvels. But also, Jackson Elias has come for information about the curse in that surrounding area. There is rumors of some type of ancient god that presides in those ruins. However, as I'm sure you know, this is all just silly superstitions, and it's not to be taken quite serious. The real issue, I believe, is the fact that people are going missing, and I believe that they're going missing for the sake of money and wealth.
Mm. See, I tried to talk to some locals to find out some information as well, and it certainly seems to be a topic of concern.
Yes, I have some information for the trip, as Jackson Elias and hopefully yourselves will be there uh, to help us bring these artifacts back to the museum. I do have some interesting things to read about that location and some ancient writings essentially that go for it. I To get ready for this meeting, I actually sent my assistant Trinidad. You should have met her walking in. She's handling the reception. She's going to be here soon with with some of those writings. I wonder where she is exactly. And with that, we're now going to swap over to Group B.
Hi
So
again, sorry, it's me. Uh, Professor thought I might be more helpful with the two of you.
Well, all
Just
right then, Peaches.
Mhm.
Well, and you're the one who saw him anyway. You saw him more closely, so I think it'll be good to have you here.
Yes, I mean, hopefully we won't run into any serious trouble, but
hopefully
better
not.
to have more numbers.
So you guys arrive in front of the door. What's your plan? What do you guys do?
Go stealthily? I think I will try to. I'm not very skilled in it, but
Yeah, same.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
same.
well,
Is the door at the top of the stairs? We saw him go through the door to go downstairs.
yes, you saw him go through the door to go downstairs.
Okay.
actually, is there any part of the museum downstairs, or is it like an employees only situation?
It's an interesting question. We'll find out once you guys get down
Okay. I guess I
there.
asked because
Like, is
if
there a
I
sign on the
can,
door saying like
yeah, that
Oh,
employees
too.
okay. So like
only?
that's very interesting that you would say that because yes, there is a sign on the door that says employees only. And
Okay.
and also I was scared you were gonna roll stealth because I was gonna say the door's locked. so, so he did lock the door behind him.
Oh. Um.
Um, then I guess I'm gonna hightail it over to the oh man, I don't speak Spanish. I'm gonna go to the receptionist anyway and hope that because this is like a museum in a large city, that maybe perhaps she knows some English.
She does in fact know some English, and she's actually at previous one we were Dr. Franklin and Professor and Dr. So many Professor Franklin and Professor Sanchez were talking. She was supposed to grab some stuff for that meeting that you guys were supposed to go to. So she's on her way to grab it now, and she's like looking at you three, and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?"
Um, can I try and fast talk her?
You can in fact try to fast talk her,
Okay.
and it is a success. So you should start talking very fast.
Okay. Well, we were just having such a good time here, and we saw just something a little suspicious, and they went down here, and I know it says employees only, but we are here on behalf of the museum and trying to help out, and we just wanted to investigate a little bit, and I mean, we're not going to cause any trouble. We just wanted to do a solid for you, and try to see
What?
what's happening down here.
What? She's like, okay, whatever. Just excuse me. I need to go downstairs. And so she kind of like your fast talking worked. She's not upset that you guys are just hanging around, but she
James holds up his hand.
okay.
Uh, Hola, Eris Bonita.
She looks at you. She goes like, "Ay, gracia," and then tries to she unlocks the door with her key. She closes the door, locks it behind her, and begins to descend down the stairs.
Oh, I
And
could have.
I would like to
What did you say to
listen through the
her?
door.
all right, let's listen and roll.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. That's a good one. So an extreme success is basically it's almost the same as like a nat 20 in D&D. It's not quite a nat 20, but like it's you still get like pretty good stuff. It's basically like the best outcome you can possibly get. Obviously rolling a 1 would be more of a nat 20, but that's how that is. So James, you listen through the door And the first thing you hear is you hear her descend into the darkness, and it's light, but you hear a thud, and then nothing. And
Thud?
a thud.
Like a soft thud or like a hard thud?
Because of the distance, it's kind of far away, but so it's a soft thud to you. And because of the extreme success, you also know that even though she attempted to lock the door, she didn't really close it all the way. Probably flustered from the fast talking, so the door is still open.
James looks to his two companions and goes, uh, I didn't really like what I just heard.
What did you hear?
Well, I heard her go down the stairs and then I don't really know. Sounded like she fell or dropped something or I don't know. Something hit the ground.
Well, we have to go and see if she's all right. Can
Yes,
you get
and
the
I
door
do
open?
believe we have probable cause, so this is not entirely legal. And James will open
Employee
the door.
only side. We won't get in trouble for that. It's not like we're breaking the law.
Yeah, we're concerned about a fellow, not fellow citizen, but a
Person? Yes,
Samaritan.
let's you can open it?
I think so. And he just kind of like pushes the door.
Yep, it
Oh.
wasn't closed all the way.
Yep. All right. Well, apparently she's not very good at closing doors.
All
Boop.
right.
And James will start making his way.
Okay. So,
As he does,
mm,
however, he is going to. He was wearing a button up, and he kind of undoes the top couple of buttons, and he reaches into his shirt and pulls out a single action revolver.
okay, very good. As you guys descend down the stairs, it gets darker and darker. And as you guys get down here, and I will say for you to place your tokens, you guys are coming out of this stairway.
Okay.
So you notice in this hallway, it's a very, very dim light. And it's dark, and you kind of see down the hallway. The doors are closed, and I want everybody to roll for listen again.
Oh.
So Jethro, it was really quick, but you heard a woman scream, and then
Oh,
it eventually became silent. It was just like a for like a second. You can't tell where it came from, but you did hear it.
um, he's got a set of brass knuckles, and he puts that on and starts running down the hallway and calls back. I
I
think I
want to
heard a
grab him by the
scream.
collar.
Hmm?
Are you insane? Don't go running through.
She screamed. I heard a scream.
It's a little dark, so I'm gonna have you roll a dex roll, Jethro, since you started running.
Yeah. Oh,
You accidentally trip.
Oh.
okay.
You don't take any
Are you
damage. You
all
just
right?
kind of like trip and land. Like you're able to like land with your hand down. And just like it's just dark.
I'm gonna like fast walk over to him
Okay.
and just try to get him like steady on his feet and go, listen, fella, we don't know what in the world's going on here, but it certainly isn't good. Now, what in the. You heard somebody scream?
I heard a scream. I heard her scream, and I think she probably needs help.
Well, that's for sure, but Listen, it's going to be the three of us screaming if you don't calm down, slow it down, and we go through carefully.
Okay,
You know,
okay, fair point. Fair point. But
sh-
let's move.
should we not get help?
I don't think we have time for that.
Right. Okay. Weapons out.
Oh, he is right. Anyone spot a telephone or something?
No. Um, would it be at all reasonable for me to have my rifle with me? I don't know how like normal or what you
So
carry it around.
so it you would not have your rifle on you, but you
Okay.
would have your revolver.
Yeah. Okay. Which I'm not that good with, but
Our
fair
pulled
enough.
out weapons, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't think it's reasonable for you to just bring your rifle on a
No,
taxi cab over to the museum.
no, I don't either.
But but your revolver for self-defense, I can see that. That's more reasonable.
Yeah,
But not
you can fit that in a purse.
yeah. Exactly. So the revolver, yes, the rifle, no.
Okay. Well, I get my revolver out.
Okay.
Okay.
And says, "How long have you had that?"
The whole time.
All right, fair enough. I had this the whole time. All right, let's move.
Yes.
So as you guys should see this door here to your right as you get close. You
Hmm.
guys you can kind of see that there's probably a door here and you cannot see this door until you get closer.
Where did
So
you hear the screaming from?
Where did I hear the screaming from?
you couldn't really tell where it was coming
Okay, okay. Um, I'm not sure. It was faint, so I think it's probably further down the hall.
All right. Shall we try the big doors then?
Makes about as much sense as anything else.
Alrighty. And I am going to sort of by Jethro's side make my way down this hallway.
from. Okay. So you guys come up, you see you see it clear, the big double door.
Is there any like glass or anything that we can see through?
No, silent.
All right, I'm gonna try a listen check again.
All right, go ahead. Success.
Nice.
So you do hear shuffling and like a weird suction type noise.
Well, that's weird. Do y'all hear that?
I didn't hear anything. What is it?
It's like
Sh-
something moving around and like a you know when you stick your finger in your mouth and it goes like
Shouldn't we? She could be dying.
fair enough. Do we want to just go in guns blazing? What do we do? I suppose I could just try the doorknob.
Don't know. I've never been in a fight before.
You've never been in a fight, but you're holding a gun. Fair enough.
I know how to shoot. That's very different than.
All right,
Let's just open the door and see what happens.
here's what's gonna happen. Jethro, I want you on the other side of this door.
Mm.
All right. Peaches, you stay behind me. You watch my back. I'm gonna
All
try
right.
and open this door quietly, and he is going to first of all, very slowly test the doorknob to see if the door is locked.
The door is unlocked.
Awesome. And he is then going to very slowly, or at least as slow as he can, push the door open a crack so he can get a peek inside.
Okay. So with that, try to reveal like a little more. This is all you can see with that crack.
Suspicious.
Do you see anything?
He turns around and goes, he kind of takes a moment, peers into what he can see, opens the door a little wider. Does that sound stop when he opens the door?
It's still going.
Okay, he's gonna open it just a little bit wider because he's very tense and trying to figure out what could possibly be making that noise, and he's not seeing anything.
All right, so since you're on the right side, I'm gonna reveal a little bit more of the map on the left, kind of like how you're looking.
Kind of like nods to Jethro and like makes a motion to like look through if he can.
I'll look through and see if there's anything I can see from my vantage point.
Are you swinging the door open, or are you just like cracking it?
Oh, I'm cracking it. I'm just gonna follow his lead because I've been in some scraps, but nothing like this.
Okay.
I don't see anything, just tables.
James takes a beat, takes a breath, holds his gun, and enters the room with gun outstretched.
All right, we reveal the whole thing.
Oh no, the lady.
You do, and towards the right. So if only Jethro swung the door, you would have seen it. Okay. You see, uh, Trinidad Rizzo, which is her name. She's on the floor, and she. Hold on, I have music for this. Hold on. I'm being a bad keeper. Okay.
You fool.
And on the floor, you see her body just drained, emaciated. She's gasping for air. She what looked like a youthful kid before. She looks emaciated, and on top of her body, you see this, which is an image I forgot to upload. Give me a moment.
You see this, a missing texture.
You do
Damn.
see this T
30 hits you
posing.
fast.
You see you see T posing. I could have sworn. I think I had it like uploaded previously.
Dear God, it's a PNG.
Truly the most horrifying of all.
I can't think of anything scary.
Here it is. I did a long time ago. I should have updated it. It's
Oh boy.
incredibly small, but
Oh.
Good fucking God.
I hate that.
yes,
Does it look like a dude?
it is a dude. In fact, uh, Josie,
Uh-huh.
this looks like what you saw going down. It's
Oh.
Luis de Mendoza. And
Mr. Mendoza?
and he's too busy basically drinking poor Trinidad. But as you say that and yelled that out, he now notices you all and turns to look at you all.
James doesn't hesitate. He fucking unloads on him.
And now we get to the fun part. Franklin, I know it's been a while since we've talked to you. This was the exciting part.
I'm so highly entertained right now, don't mind me.
So now we get to combat. Okay. Call of Cthulhu combat is fairly simple. You should see in your character sheets a skill called Brawl and a skill called Botch. But first, let's do the turn tracker. Let me put that up.
This is
All
going
right.
to be fun.
Yes. So, Franklin, I'm just going to. I need to in your character sheet, Franklin, just so I can like talk people through. With your tokens on the board, which all of you do, go to the combat tab on your character sheet. You're gonna see dexterity, whatever your dexterity is, and it says 2 turn tracker. Just click that, and it'll automatically put your thing in. Perfect. Missing one. I'm missing James.
James got a 50.
Yeah, James. So. Oh yeah.
Oh, so y'all are on the same.
Why did it not add James? Oh, there it is. All right. So that's that.
Today
Now,
they had to select the token.
yeah. Oh yeah, you do have to select your token. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
So now, with those of you with guns, you're gonna add with guns ready, which is 2 of you. You're gonna add 40 to your initiative here. So you're gonna manually add that to the turn order. When you have your gun out and ready, you get an additional 40 to your initiative.
um,
So I believe Ida, you can just click on the 50 and change it
Yeah,
to a
I
90.
just yeah.
My little token here, my little scary guy.
Quick question for combat.
Mhm.
What is the range equivalent, like, I guess, per square? Is it
So Call of Cthulhu doesn't really go by that. Call of
okay?
Cthulhu combat is not very. It's not like D&D in that aspect.
Okay.
Essentially, you can pick things because Call of Cthulhu has. It's less about combat and more about overcoming an obstacle, like I was saying before.
Yeah.
You're very free in what you can do. So if you want to pick up something from the floor and just smack this dude in the head, you can do that. You want to just do some want to try to lasso him or something, that's an action you can take with a roll. You're not really getting punished based off of a grid. The grid is me.
Yeah, I
The
was more asking about, like, my revolver specifically says it has a
Yes.
range of 15.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That
Okay.
only matters like let's say you're hiding in a building and then like you're on the 3rd floor and then like you see cultists come out of the car and you want to shoot them from the 3rd story with your revolver. It's not really going to fly. uh in that regard, but
Yeah.
in terms of like normal combat like this, you don't really have to worry about it. So how does combat work? So I'm going to start with Jethro, because you don't have a gun. Your combat is fairly simple.
Woo.
um Essentially, you have the skill brawl, and you're going to roll that when it's your turn,
Okay.
and then the person you're fighting can dodge it or counter it. If he dodges, uh essentially the person defending, the person dodging, always has priority. So if let's say he rolls a dodge and you roll a brawl, if he rolls a success, you have to roll a hard success or higher.
Mm-hmm.
If he counters you and tries to attack you back, then you have the advantage, and he has to roll a hard success or better, essentially better than you.
Okay, so there aren't really ties, right? Like
Yeah.
if we roll the same thing, it depends on who has priority.
Yeah, basic. If you roll the same thing and let's say you attack him and he dodges,
Hmm.
and you roll a tie, you both get like let's say a 50, and it's both a success. The defender gets the advantage, so it's the defender does dodge.
Okay.
The defender always gets the advantage. Now the difference is guns. Defenders do not get an advantage with guns. The way that guns work is you have a revolver. It has 6 shots, right? For your turn, well, I think Josie, you have a revolver, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
I
you
also have a revolver.
Okay, so yeah, you both have 6 shots. What you can do is on your turn, you decide how many of those shots you're going to use. You can use all 3. You can shoot 6 times. You can use it all in one turn. You will roll the gun skill that you're using. So if it's like small arms or a rifle, you will roll it 6 times. Each one will have a penalty after the first one. And then there is no defense to it. You can't really dodge it. You can kind of like dodge roll out of it. You can like dive for cover. But if you do that, 1, there has to be cover around, and 2, you lose your next turn if you do that. But you're not going against guns, so you don't really need to worry about that. But yeah, every shot after the first one will be rolled with a penalty, and then for every success is a hit, and then you roll for damage for each one of those successes.
Does the penalty increase with?
No, it'll be the same penalty each shot.
Additional.
It'll be the same penalty each time. However, what ends up happening is that if you run out of amp, once you're done with all the shots, so whatever, if once all 6 shots are gone, you have one of 2 options. You either have to take a turn to reload, or you have to just do normal combat. So like you can just like you'll just have to like use the brawl function, similar to Jethro. You will always have to reload once your shots are done. There's no way you can use your gun without reloading once all the shots are done. Also, if you choose to brawl, your initiative goes back down to where it was originally. You only have plus 40 when you're using the weapon. All right, so it's a lot of info. So we're just going to get started here. So its turn order is not correct. Jethro, you should be going second to last.
Yeah.
All right, so because Ida and oh my god, I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. James. Ida and James. You guys are tied. So you can either roll for it to see who goes first, or you can decide amongst yourselves who wants to go first.
I don't care.
I'll go first.
You'll go first? Okay.
Sure.
So then I will move you back up here. And get my Siri. So the Siri begins to run away, actually. He's trying to avoid you guys at all costs. So, James, what do you end up doing?
Pew pew, bang bang.
All right, how many shots?
We're gonna go with 2.
All right, so then roll twice on your gun skill.
Boop.
Oh,
Oh.
The first one.
Unfortunate.
I think I'm gonna use some luck.
You can't, not on fumbles.
Aww.
Not on. I didn't expect to see this so soon. Not on fumbles, unfortunately, you cannot use it. You cannot get your way out of it.
I'm so sad.
Your gun just breaks on. It's just you shoot it and you hear the click. It's not working. There's a malfunction. Like maybe the bullet didn't load correctly. It didn't fire. It's not working at all. And because it's a fumble, the Mendoza, who is now trying to escape, he hits you and knocks you out. And not knocks you out like you're unconscious, but just like knocks you to the floor. Yeah, as he tries to run and escape. So great start for combat, everybody. Ida, it is now your turn.
So the Mendoza is near us now.
Yes. So, and he ran, knocked that dude on his butt. I'm just gonna say he's here, and now he's like right in front of you. He's trying to get out.
Can I step away from him? Will that?
You can.
Okay. I will try to shoot him because this
Okay.
is terrifying.
How many shots?
Just one?
Just one shot? Okay.
Please don't
Because this
accidentally
is
shoot
not my
me.
specialty. No promises.
You would have to fumble. Okay. So
Yeah.
that shot misses, and he runs out again. He's actually not focused on combat at all. He's just trying to run away. You also have in mind that Trinidad is now dying, gasping for air.
Yeah, I wanted to go to her, but he was kind of in
Yeah, he
between
was in
me.
the way, I understand. Jethro!
I'll go to her.
You're gonna
I don't have a ranged weapon anyway, so I don't know how much use I would be, but I can go to her
so
and
you can
check her out.
you can take an action. You have essentially two skills. She has a gaping wound, as you can see, on her chest. Do you have a first aid kit on you in your possessions?
Um, I don't. I have a first aid skill.
You do? Okay. So something what you can do in Call of Cthulhu is you can be like, oh, you can look around for paper, or maybe there's a first aid kit on the wall somewhere. You can take that action to apply the first aid skill. Uh,
Okay.
for the sake, since again, I know we're playing with a lot of new people. For the sake, I'm gonna say there's a first aid kit on the wall. You can run to it and then use that first aid. If you and again, there's different rules for this. I kind of like wing it a little bit here, but essentially the rule of thumb is that it's first aid and medicine. First aid is very basic. Medicine is obviously the better healer. For emergency purposes, first aid is going to heal, is going to keep her alive, or is going to keep her in stable condition, but she's going to need to go to a hospital. If you want to save her life here, you would have to roll medicine.
Hmm.
Well, you would need to roll a normal medicine and then like a hard first aid, essentially. Basically different depending on how you roll. But rule of thumb, medicine is a tendency to be better than first aid, but you need to have a higher success rate.
1 point medicine.
Yeah. Same. No, so if I get a hard success on first aid, she could possibly not die.
Yeah, so like a hard success on first aid would be like a regular success on medicine.
Okay, then I am going to do that with this handy dandy. This is a very well stocked uh museum. I'm sure they pass all their health and safety checks.
Absolutely, they why wouldn't they?
Yes.
You delve deep into your mind palace, and you expertly stitch up her wound. You expertly apply the bandages. You can actually feel her heart beating again. She's breathing normally, although she does look very emaciated. There is, without any doubt in your mind, you have saved this woman's life.
Thanks to
Hell
this
yeah.
highly stocked first aid kit.
Yes. And I will say, because of the extreme success, she does still need to go to the hospital, but she's conscious, which is the important thing. Any other role, except for a first aid extreme success or a medicine hard success, she would have been unconscious. So that's very important. But now it is time for the Kirasiri role, or Luis de Mendoza.
Freak bastard.
And he just finds a vent and jumps into it and escapes. He had no interest in combat at all.
I hated that. I hate that.
I'm
But
so
he's so
sorry.
cute.
He's in the walls.
He is
He's
in
in
the
the
walls.
goddamn walls.
He's so handsome.
Clang, 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 clang.
So now you guys are here.
Are we out of combat?
You are out of combat. That's all that was.
Okay, James is going to get the fuck up and
Go
make
get
his way over
help.
to the lady,
Okay,
and he is going to pick her up.
perfect. But we do have to go to Franklin now because it's not over. I lied.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
You
Mendoza
told me
pops
to
up.
Uh-oh.
Right in
leave.
Well,
oh my
sometimes you
god,
have
imposter
to.
sus. Oh hey, we're here.
Yeah, you pretend you guys are not in that stairwell because you guys are not there, and you guys are deep in the basement.
No. I think I have backup.
Yeah, yeah.
So you and Mr. Elias are continuing the conversation, and Professor Sanchez, and I can stop this music right now. And Professor Sanchez is kind of because again, you guys are having a conversation the whole time all that stuff was happening in the basement of the museum. Sanchez looks at his watch and he goes, "Like Trinidad is taking quite a bit of time."
Oh, that's strange. Is she normally fairly punctual?
No, she's one of my best students. She would normally she's usually quite attentive, and she would never take this long.
That's odd. Should we check on it?
Jackson takes a kind of a look and he goes like, "Yeah, we can check on her for you, Mr. Professor." And he goes like, Would you guys please do that for me?"
Certainly, I have no issue.
Perfect. So you Jackson begins to kind of walk out. No, big head. No, yeah. He begins to move, and he leaves the room.
I have no reason not to follow. I did agree to go and check out with.
And suddenly, you guys hear the fire alarm going. And not only do you hear the fire alarm going, but you guys smell smoke.
Oh my.
And now we put on more music. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Yeah, there
It's a little unsettling for a fire, though.
you go. It is quite unsettling for a fire. Um, I would you guys now the hallway here now kind of fills with smoke. I would like you, Franklin, to roll a spot hidden.
Oh, I am notoriously good at this. I've only failed 2 today. Hey,
All
look at
right, so
that.
you got the success. You can
Always
see
check the
this.
dice.
You can see that the smoke is coming from here.
Okay. Um. Oh goodness, it seems to be coming from that room right over there.
All right, let's
We
go
should.
check it out. We got to make sure nobody's in there.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so many artifacts here. We have to try to put it out.
Absolutely. Oh, so the smoke is pretty heavy here, and Jackson Elias opens the door, and the books, like the whole back, is set on fire. And wouldn't you believe it? It's this guy from the basement setting everything on fire. And Jackson Elias can't actually see, but he looks at you and Frank is like, "Do you see what's going on in there?" And I'd like you to roll a spot hidden for me now. Again,
Oh,
you cannot see anything, only the smoke and the fire. It's too heavy, and he jumps off the window and escapes.
okay. So I didn't see anyone actually in there.
No, you just see the fire.
Okay. Uh, just a lot of fire, a lot of smoke. Do we have a fire extinguisher?
Jackson, he says, "Oh, yeah, it's in the bathroom." And the bathroom is like over here by the reception.
Oh,
And
we
at this
must
point,
save the books.
And at this, and and so Jackson and Franklin, Elias brings buckets out and wet towels and things to help stop the fire. You three down at the basement should be coming out about now with Trinidad.
I don't know if I was heard. Josie would have like immediately started running up the stairs and is in search of a phone either at the reception or is going outside and
Okay.
trying to find it. But
Would you say so? Franklin and Elias are here, so you should be able to see them if you come over here.
oh, okay. Oh, thank goodness. Is there a phone here?
James is in a full sprint and he goes out the doors with Trinidad in his arms.
I think
All
I would
right.
have been a little ahead of you, but
Elias looks at Franklin and then back at Josie, and he goes like, "What happened? What is going on?"
she's been attacked. Do you have a phone to call the hospital?
Shh. Franklin, do you have a phone?
I thought the museum might.
It's the 20s. There's no such thing as a cell phone.
Well, they have landlines. That's nobody has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Is that a? I mean, do I see the phone on the desk?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's where I was looking.
Everybody roll a spot hidden.
Well hidden phone.
It's behind the.
Hey, damn it! Where was that? Where was that?
Dr. Isaiah Franklin, with you are so hyper aware to protect this museum that you, as you quickly turn around, you instantly spot the phone right at the reception.
Immediately, there's the phone right there at the reception. You call for a hospital. We're going to work on the fire. Tell them to send the fire brigade. Never mind. You don't speak Spanish. I will take care of it.
Good idea.
Jack,
hospital for Miss Trinidad. She's very badly hurt.
I want everybody to roll for listen, and you must get a hard success. Actually, no, just a regular. Oh.
Goddamn.
So who was success? Oh my god, only one success. Not Dr. Isaiah Franklin. As you go to get the phone, you also hear the breaking of glass from somewhere in the building.
Do I get a general direction?
No.
So I'm walking to the phone. I hear breaking glass. Glasses. I just heard some glass break from somewhere.
I'll go check it out.
Yes, I'll call the authorities.
Jackson Elias runs out and says he's going to try to get help from the university as well. So he runs to leave.
I try to put out the fire.
So you help with the okay.
Yeah, I'm over here by phone.
How big is the fire right now?
It's relegated to these back books over here, but it is spreading.
Can it be smothered by like a coat?
No. You need it's a pretty big fire. Like you need the buckets of water. That's why Jackson's running out to go get help.
Okay.
James is also currently trying to unjam his pistol.
The fumble is gonna really
while sprinting down the street with an unconscious woman.
He's getting ready for the hospital. Yeah, he's just.
I don't know. All you said was you sprinted out the door. I don't know.
I set her up against the walls of the building, and I'm currently fucking with my pistol, trying to fix it.
Okay.
Jethro.
Yes.
And I forgot to have you guys do the most important thing. I got so excited with how well it was going. Everybody except Franklin, you guys needed to roll a sanity roll for the basement scene.
I figured that was the
I was so
Oh my
eh.
goodness.
Y'all are so
Wow.
That was
saying it's
so
fine.
close.
You all
Damn.
pass, huh?
Dang.
Damn, Josie.
All right.
Yeah.
Because you all pass, you guys only have to roll 1d4 of damage.
Yay.
Oh god. It could be
Where my
happening.
dice at? Give me a D4.
2. So I know we have a first time d20 or a roll 20 person here. Or no, you figured it out?
I did, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then
I
never mind.
know a dice symbol.
Perfect. Perfect. So yeah. So as I said, remember if you lose 5 sanity in a session, you will go temporarily insane. 9 or more, well, you will have indefinite insanity, in which I have a little chart that I go through or actually I kind of just wing it usually. We'll get there. You know, we'll get there. And now to what I was gonna do before.
So what do we do with the D4s?
So basically, so now in your character sheet, you should see underneath your health bar or your hit points, you should see underneath magic is your sanity.
Yeah.
You will subtract that from your sanity.
Okay. The score on the left, because the
Yes.
total stays the same. Okay.
Yes.
The
Total stays the same. Subtract it from your sanity, and that will be. And after that's done, I will have Jethro roll for another listen.
Oof.
You do not hear anything. You have no idea where the glass came from.
I think if it's glass, I think he's probably gonna go in the main place first to look around because that's where the most glass is.
Okay.
Does he see anything? Should I roll
Nope.
something for that? Okay.
There's nothing. Everything is pristine.
Okay. Then he goes back out and looks over here at the office.
So you go into the office to where Professor Sanchez is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I did not delete.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I was hoping perhaps
That was a
maybe.
little hint for me to you guys by not deleting him. He is on top of Professor Sanchez, and
Oh boy.
you notice him doing something. He is, instead of like in the image before, where for Trinidad, where he was sucking on her chest essentially, he is instead vomiting into Professor Sanchez's mouth.
Oh.
Oh.
And with that, Jethro, congratulations. You're gonna roll for another uh sanity roll.
Sanity.
That's fair. I feel like I
Uh-oh.
need to roll that in real life.
Okay.
Can you roll for shower also?
Unfortunate. So that is because you passed, that is a 1d4 of damage. However, you also need to roll for intelligence.
Do we do intelligence first?
Nope, you're gonna do it now. You're gonna just oh wait. No, yeah, do
Yeah,
it now. Do it.
before or after the D4.
You're gonna do the d4 and then you're gonna roll for intelligence. Yeah, do the d4 first.
D4, another 2.
Okay, and now intelligence.
That's
That's
bad in this case,
that's
though,
bad
right?
in this case.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And now you're gonna take another d4 of damage. All right, so let's see, you're our first sanity victim. How much is that total you lost? Would you
5.
say, including from before?
Oh, 7. 7
Oh,
total.
I was gonna have so much fun. Oh, you're so lucky.
How many is it again
Oh,
before you
it's
have
9.
a problem?
9.
Okay.
You're 2 away, but not quite there for me to have my fun yet.
Damn.
So you have gone temporarily insane. So essentially,
Ooh, fun.
Jethro, in terms of how this is going to happen, is that this this is too disgusting for you. From what you saw in the basement, from what you saw here, you are completely grossed out. You cannot handle this image that you're seeing right now. And every so often, until your insanity is kind of healed, which it will take a little while, I'm gonna have you roll random Constitution checks to see if you can really keep it down.
Okay.
So now you may continue with what does your character think? What do they do? How are you acting?
Um, I think the first thing is just the like horrified. And so he pauses at the doorway here before like he realizes he needs to do something.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna say he does notice that it's different. I mean, clearly than what was happening with Trinidad. And then I guess can he like lift up one of these pots and throw it at the thing?
That depends. Can you roll a Constitution for me?
Yes. Constitution.
All right, you are able to kind of keep it
Oh,
down. You can attempt to throw the plant at him for a uh brawl.
I thought it would be the throw spell.
Oh
Oh,
no.
No, it would be initiating combat,
Fair enough.
but you fumbled, which means that that previous Constitution that you passed, never mind. You threw up the moment you tried to lift it up. You just cannot hold it anymore, and you threw up on the floor.
Threw
I
up on the
up
plant.
into the plant.
Nope, on the floor. You fumbled. You get the worst outcome. You don't get to do the smart thing.
Hmm.
um Man, okay. Can I can I now can I try and throw it again or
No, because now he's done and he jumps back out the window.
okay.
And now we're on to James.
Do I see him jump out the fucking window?
You didn't hear him the first time when he broke glass. So
Mhm.
I'm going to give you one last chance for a spot hidden because it's not going to make that much noise this time. But we'll see if you see him since you're outside.
Okay. Spot hidden. Not sleight of hand. Spot hidden. There we go.
Okay.
Heyo.
So you do see him running, and but he
Uh.
does escape.
Oh.
And this time
Did I
you
ever
will
manage
actually
to?
escape.
Did I ever manage to unjam my gun?
You will have to roll a dex for me.
Dex. Let's do a dex. Womp.
Yeah. All right. So now you're able to have it unjammed.
Yeah. My dad pulled a prank on me and stuck a gum wrapper in one of my chambers of my gun.
Yep, he did do that. So now, so the fire, for people who were dumping the fire with water, uh, the fire is calming down, and over where Jethro is throwing up on the floor, um, Professor Sanchez is alive, and even though you're throwing up and not looking at him, he's screaming, "He kissed me! He kissed me! He kissed me!" He's just Professor Sanchez is screaming that over and over.
Take a chill pill, dude. God.
oh, he
Yeah.
kissed him and then he threw up. That's so homophobic.
Is he
he's
that bad at a kisser?
he's a
Rude.
homophobe. He-
Dear God,
Um
homophobic professors. This is my Twilight.
All right,
can I
so
like stick my head out and at least call like in the middle of vomiting, like call over Josie?
yes, you can do that.
Okay. I will do that. I will, but I mean, and it might not be that intelligible. It's just like vomiting and like, over here.
Yeah,
Over,
so
over.
a lot of weird shits happen, so sounds like someone needs help. So coming over and check in.
Luckily, Josie, you did not witness what had just happened, so you are safe from the
Yeah,
sanity.
thank
When
you.
when you walk in, all you see is Jethro vomiting on the floor, and Professor Sanchez has been. He's on the floor. He's got this filmy, thick, like white liquid, but it does seem to be kind of burning his mouth a bit. There's a little bit of smoke coming off of it.
Are you all right? What? Are you hurt?
He kissed
Oh,
me. He kissed me. He's just screaming that over and over.
Mr. Irvine?
Are you calling? Are you
No,
calling?
like who? I don't know who kissed him, and there's only one other man in the room.
he's just screaming. He's just like he's about to pass out. He's
Can
gone
I?
through a bit of a traumatic ordeal.
Like I want to try to help him to figure out like if something's actively hurting him.
You can run a first aid check
Uh,
to see if you see and inspect the body, basically,
Okay.
or medicine.
I'll try first aid.
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
Hey.
so you,
Hey.
Josie, you notice that the liquid around his mouth is burning him. It's acidic. And not only that, you see something crawling down his throat, something not natural.
Shove hand in mouth.
uh, yeah, yeah. I'm wearing a glove, so I'll shove my hand down in his mouth and try to pull it out.
So normally I would have you roll a medicine to try to roll to make that, but because of your extreme success, I will allow you to forego that roll, and it is you managed to hold on to something thick and slimy, and he's screaming as you push your hand down his throat,
Sorry. Apologies.
and you manage to pull it out, and you see this horrifying thing as you yank it out. This
Oh.
is a good look here. And if you remember when I said you were safe from sanity,
I recall that was a long time ago.
just kidding. Roll for
Yeah.
sanity, please.
Okay. Sure.
I'm a little bit of a jokester sometimes.
You're so
He's just a
funny.
little silly.
All right, so you're safe. You roll a 1d4, please.
Okay.
One off. I'm gonna have a hard
Yeah.
time breaking you, huh?
Oops, sorry.
All right.
Didn't mean to do that.
Thank goodness.
And now, of course, the ever fun intelligence roll, and you have to hope for failure.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Another 1d4 for me, please.
I'm so glad that I'm stupid.
And now you are also temporarily insane because I don't think you've taken as much as Jethro has.
I've taken 5 total.
5 total. Okay, so you are also uh, temporarily insane. You freak out similarly to Jethro, but you just essentially like sort of like I don't remember what it's called, but there's that phobia of bugs. And similarly, like you do not like the sight of this thing. This thing is very disturbing to you. It's very gross to you, and your character should just begin screaming at this point, and that is how your character should react. But I tell me, what do you think your character would be doing now that you are temporarily insane?
um, she screams and probably like yanks her glove off with the thing and throws it on the floor and just is pointing at it. Help! Help!
And now Franklin and James, I want you to roll for a listen. See if you hear
Alright.
her calling for
Word.
help.
Watch me fucking fumble this.
I'm trying to call the locals authorities.
Okay, so
The
Franklin does
operator
not
is
hear.
terrible.
James, you do not hear. You're still fiddling with the gun. You're watching Trinidad.
I'm
And
sitting there trying to pick the fucking gum wrapper out of my gun.
this is all fun for me because unfortunately combat does start.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
Uh-oh.
So for the people in the room, Jethro and Josie, why don't you go ahead and throw your initiative into the turn tracker for me?
Okay. Where'd it go?
Your gun is not out and ready, so you do not get the initiative.
No.
And my larva is also faster.
Ew. I hate
Ugh.
that.
It's
Ugh.
very so
Ugh.
as you guys are by the way, Jethro, you will be rolling constitution checks on your turn,
Okay.
and Ida, you will be getting a penalty on all of your rolls.
Oh, good. Because I was
Oh,
so good at combat
this will be great.
already.
Yeah. So, I bet you're all wondering what kind of skills does my larva have?
I
Well,
was hoping it just had.
Brawl, I imagine.
oh, but you would be incorrect.
What
You
is it,
see,
fucking fly?
it has an ability
It's
called
an
Enter
eldritch
Body.
larva.
Oh,
No.
that is so much worse.
Oh.
So I would like you guys to read their kind of description.
Most
And you know what?
times.
Since this is getting uploaded to
I...
YouTube, I will just read it out loud. May enter a target's body via any orifice or wound, provided the larva spends at least one round crawling into position. As this is not a normal combat maneuver, the larva is not subject to the normal penalties for its small build. The slime exuded by the larva inflicts 1 hit point of damage per round if it comes into contact with bare skin. Now, he did fail, so
Thank God.
he has to do another turn to prepare to jump the body. Now, before we get to Jethro's turn, um, I like to have fun here. Um, why don't you guys roll luck, and whoever has the better roll is who the larva is going to target.
Uh-oh.
No.
All right. Since Josie rolled better by a couple points, because lower is better, Jethro, as you are vomiting, the larva will try to target you.
Oh, boy.
Jethro, it's your turn.
Uh, gosh. Can I take the other plant pot?
And try to smash it?
Yeah. I don't want to
Absolute.
touch it.
You absolutely can, but you must roll a constitution check.
Thank
All
God.
right, you're able to hold it down, so go ahead and roll a brawl for me. A regular success.
Yeah.
Now, the the larva pretty fast, so he does not want to get hit by you. So he's going to try to dodge it, and he fails. So now you can roll for damage. You're gonna roll a 1 d6 of damage.
Yay, plant pot. One. Yes.
And
Oh,
you smash it, and it is dead. It is crushed underneath
Thank
the
God.
plant,
Oh my God. Thank God.
and it is completely destroyed underneath
God.
the plant pot. That could have been disastrous. So now Trinidad is safe, but you do have a panicking, insane Professor Sanchez in the room. we're gonna go to Franklin for a moment. Franklin, you have been busy making some phone calls.
Yeah, I have.
All right. So I pick up the phone. You were calling for the ambulance.
And fire brigade.
And all right. So basically, the cops essentially.
Yeah. The authorities, yes.
So I pick up, and I'm like, "Yes, this is the Lima Fire Brigade, police department. How can I assist you?"
Hi, yes, hello. There is a fire at the museum. Is there a name for this museum?
The Museum of Archaeology.
The Museum of Archaeology. We need assistance, and also there's a young. Well, actually, I don't know that it was the secretary that got hurt. I just saw them carrying up what appeared to be an old lady. Yes.
Josie did mention that it
Yeah.
was
Okay.
Trinidad was badly hurt.
And there's a young lady that is badly hurt. We desperately need medical assistance as well.
I understand. We'll be sending a brigade out right away.
Thank you.
So they hung up, and now you're alone. The fire has been kind of calmed by Josie. It's been taken care of. We are at 11. I normally do 3-hour sessions, so we can kind of hard stop it here. I will say before we end it that James
Word.
Trinidad, who you carried out, who is still alive and conscious due to the good rolls in the basement, she's calling out to you. She's asking you to get close to her.
Oh.
He leans down and he goes, "Te escucho."
She knows that you don't speak the language, so all she does is hand you two things.
Her number? Just kidding.
No. She
Sorry,
hands
sorry.
you she pulls out of her kind of like her jacket this golden rod made of pure gold and hands it to
Immediately into his pocket.
you. So it is going to only be viewable in your handouts right now. What if you decide to show it to everyone, it will I'll reveal it to everybody's handouts.
Oh, that's funky.
Yeah. And then the other thing she gives you is the journal that she was getting for Professor Sanchez, Franklin, and Jackson. And she hands that to you as well. So that will also only be in your journal for now.
Word.
So you have these things in your handout. And for that, we are done with today's session.
James goes, "I can't read any of this."
The
Don't
worst thing
worry.
that has happened to me
Cue
today
end
is the
credits.
books have been on fire.
That's true.
I
You
know.
have Franklin hasn't seen a damn thing.
Professor's doing just
All
fine.
right, so I'm gonna do like my little outro here. Thank you. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, watch some more. This was very fun and entertaining. Thank you guys so much.